wherever he feels like hauling ass at. Hey, today working on some big block Chevy aluminum cylinder heads. Doing a valve job. And I wanted to show you what is going on in the seat area. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me zoom in. Right there you can see that it's not touching. This little pointer. Light on it here. Try to get a good look at it. There you can see it. Right there, it's not touching. About there to there. Now, these cylinder heads, I believe, were bought around 2002, maybe, somewhere in there, 2001. And they've been ran for, I don't know, they've been sitting because the guy blew up his engine probably 8 years ago, maybe. They decided to build another engine and he installed the heads. And he was changing valve springs. So you break the cam in. I believe those are dual springs. Just the outers right now. And when he was putting air in the cylinders, air was leaking out the intake runners. He said it was bad. Well, when your seat looks like that, I can see why it's leaking. And also, I already ground the valves. And the intake valves were not in the greatest shape either. They had spots in them too. They look just about like the seat. About the same width, about from there to there. It was like an indentation, I guess you'd call it. It didn't take much to clean them up, but that would be the reason why it was leaking. Here's the other head. You can see their canfields. And I haven't touched this one yet. But there you can see some indentations in the deck area when it blew up. But just eyeballing the seats, they don't look that bad. But when you stick a stone to them, that tells you what kind of shape they're in. Don't know. Those numbers will tell you when they're made or anything like that. There's some more numbers down there. They're square ports. And they're 219 188 valves. And they're good heads. Canfield or heads are some of the better big block Chevy heads, but I believe they're out of business. And these were on the 468 big block Chevy. Wasn't nothing fancy. Had a hydraulic cam in, I believe it was like 234.5, maybe something like that. You had about 10-1 compression. It was all in a 66 chevelle. I think you had a turbo 350 in it and 373s, I believe. And it was running 730s in the 8th mile, which isn't bad. You know, it's just basically a driver engine. Mild big block. 730s would be what? Quarter-mile times into the 11s easy. You know, 6.9 in the 8th is 1090, so 730s is low 11s. Other than that, for as long as they are ran, the guides are still good, nice and tight. The seats are decent still. No major beat ups or nothing like that. Other than that, need to do some more grinding. And that's just one head. I don't know what the other head's like because I just started on this one. Haven't did the exhaust yet. I'll probably do all the intakes on both heads, see what they look like. And then I'll go on to the exhaust. Okay, just $45 exhaust. And this back one is just like the intake, it's not touching. You get some light on or you can see it. There you can see it. Right in there, it's not touching. Of course, you never get the stupid light angle where you want it. They can point it out here. Right in that area, about right there. Right there, it's not touching. I just lightly touched it. I'll have to grind a little more on it, but the rest of them turned out alright. All the intakes and exhausts. 45's done. Got to narrow them up. Probably throat them. Use a 60 on the throat down inside. Down in there. Because the top is looking okay. This exhaust. That's an intake. But those should be good. And I'll get back to it here. Well, I got the first head finished. Valve job's done, valves are lapped in. Now I'm on the second cylinder head. And it's no better than the first one was. I'd say it's almost worse. Because it is not touching. Just help if I was on the right cylinder, wouldn't it? Anyways, it is not touching. Like right in there to right about there. I've just lightly touched it. The other ones are the same way. That one's from like right there to right there. And from like right there about there to there. And this one is right there to over to there. That's probably why the intake valves were leaking. He's trying to change the valve springs. So it's blowing air out the intake runners. And that's probably why. So I'll get these finished and then on to the exhaust. Alright, this is the second head. And the intakes are done. I already said that. Lightly touch the exhaust. All of them are respectable. Except for this one right here. Zoom in there. And it's not touching from like right there over to there. You can see it's slightly starting to touch right there. And this cylinder was the worst of all of them. The intake was bad, just as bad as that. The exhaust was. That one there might be just slightly, but I haven't just barely even touched them. Just very lightly touched them, ran it for about 2 or 3 seconds, and that's it. So, need to finish up the exhaust. Need to redress the stone. These hardened seats are extremely hard on the stones. And then do the 3-angle valve job. Do the 60 and the 30. And then I should be able to lap the valves in. There's the other pieces and parts. Also had to run a reamer down through the exhaust on the exhaust guides on this cylinder head because they were too tight. And that should be about it. Okay, the second cylinder head valve job is finished. Lapped all the valves in. There's an intake valve. Goes back in that spot. And there's an exhaust valve. It goes back in that spot. Now this cylinder here is the worst one. It wasn't really touching out here on this side. Both of these. And if I remember right, the owner said that this cylinder gave out this last time. Previously, it said it spun a rod bearing due to the oil pump screen breaking and falling off, and you can see where it spun a rod, and it put some indentations in the cylinder head. Now, in all reality, might have possibly should have, but I don't believe they did, had the head surface. When that's smacking the head, it could be distorting it. And possibly that's why these seats are off. Because it might have distorted it. I can't remember what these ones were like. I didn't think they were that bad. But you never know. Might be some food for thought, who knows. But they are. The valve job's finished. Now I just need to clean up the rest of the crap. Put up my tools, clean them up, wash them off, and assemble them. And the owner should be able to take them, bolt them on his engine, and go haul ass wherever he feels like hauling ass at. Don't forget to ring that notification bell.